But I think what's incredibly important for business to business marketers is to do unscalable work. And the unscalable work really is directly connecting with people, directly answering their questions, giving them the knowledge that you have, and building a reputation and building authority in that space. Hey, we have a great question that's coming in from the entrepreneur subreddit from Jenny Sebastian. She says, starting a consulting business. I'm a software and ML engineer with tons of experience developing software, ML, NLP, and conversational AI systems. I've started my consulting company in this space, but I don't have a very deep professional network to tap into. With that, how can I go about getting sales from my agency? So the first thing is I don't know what any of those acronyms stand for because I'm not in that space. But what I can tell you is that the thing that is probably the most valuable thing you can do is value-driven content marketing. Identify the reasons why you started the business. You want to help people. You want to bring a value proposition to the marketplace that maybe doesn't exist. You In like our case, for example, we're doing what the largest ad agencies in the world do, and we're making that available to small and mid-sized advertisers, right? So there's a deep and addressable value proposition there. So identify what your value proposition is, and then go into the marketplace and espouse the benefits and of that value proposition. And now the challenge is, for even for companies who have been doing this for a long time, and who knows what a long time is, but we've been doing this for 6 years. We're just now understanding what we are and who we are and the type of business we are. So it might not take you 6 years, it might take you 2 months to understand that. But one of the things I've learned over the years is that the marketplace tells you what they want from you. The collective marketplace has an opportunity to give you feedback, and you can take that feedback and do something really great with it. And a lot of big companies spend a lot of money on marketplace research. And I espouse the belief that, frankly, the marketplace is the place where to develop the research. So in more practical terms, here's what I would be doing. I would be deploying the same type of value-driven content marketing that we're doing. And I'll say, first of all, that I've been really aggressively doing this for like 3 weeks for my business. And I'm posting in Reddit and Quora. I find that there's a lot of people talking at each other on LinkedIn and Twitter, and they're not actually asking questions. There's not as much dialogue as I would expect. So you kind of, in some ways, on LinkedIn and Twitter, have to kind of like brute force your way into those conversations and be okay with like not getting much of a response. But I think what's incredibly important for business to business marketers is to do unscalable work. And the unscalable work really is directly connecting with people, directly answering their questions, giving them the knowledge that you have, and building a reputation and building authority in that space. I think that's really what you're trying to do, right? You want people to know who you are, the type of consulting you do. And if you don't have a network, you have the larger social network, and you have to work a little bit harder. And I'll tell you my story just a little bit. When we started the business, I started the business in 2013 and actually chickened out and took a full-time job at another agency. So in 2015, February 2015, I started doing this full time. And when I started doing this full time, I realized that I didn't want to spend the time or the money. I didn't want to spend the money to hire sellers. So I was like, okay, how do I enroll people into the mission that we have without blowing through the reserves that I have? And so effectively, we sell via partnerships. We don't sell via, um, we don't have sellers on the payroll, is essentially what I'm saying. And the massive benefit to that is I got an opportunity to understand what the marketplace wants for us. And I learned lessons and I learned how to become a better business owner and operator and practitioner of the work that we do. Like I learned things. And so the way to do that in 2019, going into 2020, is value driven content marketing. Post valuable information to places where people are asking for information, and two big things will happen. The first big thing is you'll understand what the marketplace wants from you. You'll get a sense of the questions that people have of you, and you'll get a sense of the answers that you repeatedly are giving. And that's incredibly valuable research, because then you can formulate your products and services and language and your, in rap they talk about spit your game. You get an opportunity to practice spitting your game to people, and when you're in the position to talk to clients, you've rehearsed it so much that it's second nature to you. And I say this because I'm a practitioner first. I'm not a seller. I don't know how to sell the traditional selling work of making 30 calls a day and following up every 2.5 days with emails and taking people out to lunches and dinners. I don't know how to do. I'm more business development. And I suspect that you starting your consulting firm have the technical mastery to do the thing that you're selling, and you have the knowledge. I suppose, and I don't know you, but I suppose that you may not have the sales instinct, just like I didn't have the sales instinct. And if you do have the sales instinct, holy cow, you have a leg up. Um, and the way we built our business, and we were on the Inc. 5000 last year. We have 10 employees, or Inc. 5000 this year, I should say, in 2019. Um, the way I built the business is by forming partnerships with agencies and consultants like yourself, but for the advertising space. And they have the relationships, we have the media buying capabilities, and as a result, it's a nice fortuitous relationship for both parties, because we bring something complementary that the folks that we work with don't have access to. So all that is to say, you you talk you speak to the marketplace, you pay attention to what people are asking for, you pay attention to what you're saying, and when you're in the situation where you have a qualified seller, now it becomes second nature. The second thing is you take the best pieces of content and you put that up as videos, you put that up as a LinkedIn article, you start to build your reputation. The pro of this tactic, of this strategy, this value driven content marketing strategy, the pro is it takes time, not money. When you don't have money, you have time. The con is that it takes time and you've got to become good at it, and you have to sort of stick to it. And I think one of the biggest challenges to this process, especially if you're doing it yourself, number one is accountability, because you have like you're racing against the clock, right? You're not bringing in money because and I'm speaking from my own experience. Your experience might be different, but right, you're moving away from having a monthly salary to like every day that you're not bringing in a new client, you're both not earning money and you're losing money because you have your living expenses. And then secondly, it takes time to build. Like this is a slower build, and you kind of have to have patience. And the third part about this is the challenging part is your mindset has to be right. Like you have to know and constantly reinforce that this is going to take time, months, a year, maybe more, to make it fortuitous. And I think what's important here is it's necessary to have someone in your family, your friends. I really pay a lot of my mind share onto podcasts where mindset is reinforced. If you want a really good personality to pay attention to, someone who's who sounds very aggressive but is actually incredibly nurturing, pay attention to Gary Vaynerchuk. And a lot of what I'm talking about, I'm deploying. A lot of what he's talking about, I'm deploying for my business. And other ideas, find conversations to engage with on Twitter, post content, post, pithy, screen grabs, use tools like 99 Designs or Design Crowd or self-service tools like Canva to be your own marketing team. Canva is very easy to use. It's an incredibly great tool. It's a $2 billion company. It's just out of the blue, but it took probably a couple years to get there. But an incredible business. Anyway, I'm diverging. The point is, there's a lot of tools out there for you to be successful at this if you make the commitment. The alternative thing for getting clients is seek out opportunities to talk to hubs, like find companies and market to companies that are hubs for 10, 20, 100 different clients that you could bring on from a consulting perspective, right? So those are my thoughts. I think your opportunity is value-driven content marketing, and I'll give you a final sort of anecdote. When I started the business and started doing this full time in 2015, I spent about a year and a half following and unfollowing people on Twitter, engaging with people who are in my industry. So programmatic advertising, demand side platforms, real-time bidding, stuff that isn't particularly relevant to your business, but it's relevant to mine. And so I spent, I don't know, like $300-400 a month on someone to help me do this. And I posted as well. It was twofold for me. I wanted to understand how the marketplace works from a marketing perspective. And then secondly, I also wanted to gain this following for the benefit of marketing my business, right? And it really seemed like it wasn't doing anything for us. Like I was like, man, I gotta kind of stop it. It's not, there's just not much return on that, until I got a call from someone who's our client now, and he started running media with us, and it paid out in spades and massively. Like it was just a massive win, but it took 15 months, 12 months, I don't know exactly, to realize that. So I look at this as infrastructure building. You're learning from the marketplace, but you're also leaving breadcrumbs of knowledge so that you become, and people can find you and see you as an authority. And then the last part, I keep saying that's the last part, but find the medium that works for you. Like maybe create a podcast for people in your field so that they can learn. Like I have a podcast called the LA Business Podcast, and the goal is to understand how companies scale, because that's the mission I'm on right now. We're here to scale. And maybe podcast is your thing. Maybe writing is your thing. Maybe video is your thing. Whatever the case is, get help. You can find students and young people and talented people looking for opportunities to engage with, who can help you with this stuff. And find mentors. Find folks who are doing what you're doing and who have built successful businesses. My wife used to work at Boston Consulting Group, and gosh, they're chock full of really smart people. Something interesting for you might be, I do consulting work with Prohaska Consulting, and Prohaska Consulting is also an advertising consulting firm, like also in the sense that it's in the advertising business. It's not a software business. But from the perspective of building up a consulting firm, it might be interesting to you to talk to Matt Prohaska just like 30 minutes to get a sense of what it's like to build a distributed workforce. Or maybe you and I can talk, right? So I think there's a lot of opportunity there. And like, I wish you all the best. And if you like, I'd love to connect with you so that we can, I don't know, for better or worse, be accountability buddies and share ideas, and maybe with you and me and some other folks create a mastermind group. Anyway, those are my thoughts. I was excited to record this here at almost 11 o'clock at night in Los Angeles. All right, talk to you soon. Bye.